What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up, fellas?
What's good? What's good? What's
Yo,
good?
yo, yo.
Yo, this is MJ. We got Gabe here. We got Omega.
What's good?
Welcome to the first episode of the Micheaux Film Club.
Hey.
What's up? What's
You know what
up?
I'm saying, this has been a long time waiting. We've been working on this for a while now. Like we've been talking about it really for a while now.
For a minute.
And we just wanted to like pretty much introduce y'all to black cinema, and not just black cinema, but just cinema in general, and what the black culture, what we love to watch, what we love to see, what we're inspired by, what we want to create, who we want to inspire. You know what I'm saying? And we're all filmmakers here. And introduce yourselves, fellas. Introduce yourselves to the world.
Cool, yeah. So my name's Gabe, as Michael said, and I've been a fan of film for a very long time. I've been friends with these guys for a minute now, and we all kind of have the same vision, kind of all on the same wavelength, and we all have a passion for film. So we figured, why not share that with folks? Talk about what we love. Hopefully, get some feedback from y'all. Talk about what y'all love. Make it a community. You know what I'm saying? And have fun at the same time, experiment and, just like be spontaneous. The sky's the limit. So
That's a
we
fact.
really hope to, make this a thing.
I guess passing it off. I'm Omega, and I'm a filmmaker as well. I think what brought us all together was just to get together and see black life and through a black lens, and like also through a lens in general of like like Michael said. But yeah, man, like my experience with film, it brought me to a place where where I could really understand myself and understand the world around me, and that like just from being like a where you are type of place, and knowing how to get somewhere, and through visualizing it and seeing it, and like somebody else seeing it before I did and put it on a big screen.
True.
So that was I just want to further that that light, but yeah. So
Yeah,
I mean,
man.
we can talk about Oscar Micheaux and
Yeah, we could talk about a whole lot of stuff. This like we got a lot of ground to cover for this introduction. Definitely like the beginnings and the origins of the Micheaux Film Club. Starting it off as like doing film screenings or whatever. Those were a bit of a fail, but at the same time, at the same time, it gained something, because that's how I met Omega. He came through to one of my film screenings. Gabe, I known him a long time, so we go way back.
Way back.
But yeah, like doing these film screenings and where it started from, and the reason why like it's called the Micheaux Film Club is because Oscar Micheaux is like the original Spike Lee, the original Tyler Perry. You know what I'm saying? Like this is a man that like not everybody knows about, but it's important that the black community know about him, as far as like the origins and being an author and being the first filmmaker that looked like us to be able to say fuck it to Hollywood, and to just be like, what, I'm gonna make my own movies, I'm gonna put my own people on.
Yeah, I think he made like 30, 40 films, right?
Yeah, a whole bunch.
Wow.
He made a whole lot of movies. So it's just like everything that us black filmmakers we do, we really do it in sort of in his name, in a sense. We carry on the legacy, and we just pass it on to the next generation. Right now, we're the generation that's like trying to do something. The fuck was that? This is the
that's
first
an African spirit.
You know what I'm saying?
They know we doing something cool.
No
doubt.
we're really excited, man. We're really excited. Like I hope y'all enjoy these episodes that we're about to create, because we definitely gonna cover a lot of ground as far as like filmmaking goes. Like we just talk about the technical aspects of things, talk about acting, talk about directing, cinematography. We want to talk about everything, just pop culture in general. Talk about stuff that's like outlandish. Like we just want to like take it as far as we can possibly take it, and we hope that you, the audience, are there with us. You know, if y'all not, then forget y'all.
I think they'll definitely be with us after this one, man. I definitely do. But yeah, to take it back to Oscar Micheaux for a minute, yeah, one of the things I really appreciate about him is that, you know, like, he finessed a lot of it. You know, like, after reading about him for a little bit, like, they would say that, you know, his films would be, like, made within 6 weeks. And that's just something that's, like, insane, you know,
It's
like,
almost
that,
impossible.
you know,
man.
like, by today's standards.
Mhm.
But he did this consistently on a consistent basis back, you know, like, decades ago with so little resources. And, you know, like, we have these abundance of resources these days, and we find it so difficult. You know, we're inundated with so many, you know, external, you know, like, stimulations. It's very difficult to, you know, like, focus and, you know, actually put in work. But somehow him and his crew and his team, they all managed to really do it with, and, you know, like, with resilience, and, you know, they made it happen. And, you know, we kind of want to bring that, you know, energy to, you know, how we approach our work today, and see if, you know, we can take inspiration from him and all the other people that followed in his lineage, and, you know, kind of bring that life that, you know, he brought to, like, that vision that he brought to the screen, and, like, reproduce that. Because we were just watching Dolomite, actually, and there's a lot of similarities between the way Dolomite went about doing things and the way, you know, we read about Oscar Micheaux and the way he did things. So we think it's possible, you know, like, we think, you know,
It's totally possible.
yeah, like,
It's totally possible. Like, not allowing, like, the world and, like, even, like, just people, negative people, get in your ear
right,
and telling you no, when it's, like, totally possible to do the things that you want to do, even if the world might not like it, to just be able to put out your art, you know, and even if, like, on social media, like, nobody likes your art, like, you just get 1 or 2 likes, it's like, at least you put it out there, and when you're dead and gone, you know, like, people are still going, like, they can still find your work, you know what I'm saying, like, and if you got kids or nieces, nephews, or whatever, the next generation would want to know about you, you got your thing out there, you know what I'm saying, like, you got it out there. Yeah.
Yeah, no doubt, no doubt. But yeah, we want this to be a community thing. You know what I'm saying? It's not just us three. We have a few more team members as well, but they couldn't make it right now. So hopefully you guys will be hearing from them soon. But yeah, we want this to be like a collective community effort. We want to build off this. We want to collaborate with other people who are also interested in film. You know, like, bring their ideas to life. You know, combine our ideas, make them fuse, and, you know, just make a movement off of this shit. I mean, that's at least my vision. That's like the pie in the sky. But yeah, I'm really like, I'm really inspired, and, you know, like, really optimistic about what we're doing right now.
That's a fact. That's a fact. Let's definitely talk about Dolomite though, cause
Yeah, for sure, man.
that movie definitely, like, opened my eyes up, cause it's like, it's funny, like, I forgot that I actually watched the original movie, cause it just reminded me so much of, like, Foxy Brown and, like, Shaft and all those, like, classic 70s black exploitation type movies or whatever. So just watching the Eddie Murphy's rendition of it, I think it was totally dope. And, like, Eddie Murphy, man, I could always watch an Eddie Murphy movie.
Yeah.
Like, even if it's Norbit, I could totally just watch it, cause I love Eddie Murphy, and, like, this dude brings, like, just shit to life that is just like, wow, you know. And, like, seeing, like, Dolomite having to be like, you know what, man, fuck this. If y'all don't want to sell my shit, I'm gonna just sell it from the trunk of my car. Like, he was the first one to sell a mixtape in his trunk. I feel like, you know, so that's, like, dope to me. That's dope.
But I mean, like, while watching that movie, like, I know I came a little late, but, like, what he really did, you know, like, came in with, like, a solid vision of, like, who he wanted to be, and like, how he wanted to be seen, and for, you know, to have, like, Shaft and movies like Superfly to be out before him, and, like, he's like, no, I want mine, you know, they gonna remember me, Dolomite, you know.
Yo, should we put like a spoiler warning on this, just in case?
Probably. I mean, a little bit. Probably.
It's on Netflix.
Yeah, I mean,
It's
you
like,
know.
I know. I mean, I'm sure people
We
just
should,
like.
we should actually talk about that. We should actually
No,
talk
yeah,
about
because we do get into it. And then, yeah, I do
We're gonna
think.
have a spoiler culture episode coming soon.
Yeah.
Folks. But for now,
Well,
you
yeah,
know,
okay, I guess I'll just stay vague. But anyways, but how he brought that style and like, you know, that finesse stuff, you know, like him being who he was, like he was. I won't dive into it too much, but like him with his certain limitation of other black artists and stuff like that. So it was really cool to see him with like know his limitations and to work with it, you know,
True.
because like you know, like I can't exactly do my thing like how Director X does, or you know, like the way I came up is like Spielberg or somebody, you know, it's different. So like you have, it's really all about like y'all can share these differences, these similarities, but you really do have to like know what works for you like the best.
Yeah,
you know?
absolutely, yeah. And I mean, like they were showing clips of like the actual Dolomite film, and I was getting vibes that it was kind of like. It was like viral before, you know, viral culture existed, you know, like people were laughing at it ironically, you know what I'm saying? And that's not something you really saw that much of those days. And I'm to Omega's point, it's like he knew what he wanted, like, and he knew people were laughing at it. And like these days, that's what gets the clicks, you know what I'm saying? Like that's what gets the likes. And he was on that like way before other people were. So I mean, like to go to the whole back to the inspiration thing, he's like bringing his ideas to life, like the way he wanted them, you know, at a time where it was 1,000 times harder to actually do it. You know what I'm saying? If people could like have that type of like that drive these days, imagine what can be done. You know, it's crazy. It's really crazy.
Yeah, it's funny that you mentioned that, like that drive, right? Like recently, like this past couple of weeks, the word that's been coming around is persistence. You know, staying persistent and like staying consistent as well, and making sure that like when you have an idea, to continue to work through that idea, and then like just seeing how far it goes. Cause it's like honestly like watching a movie like Dolomite, it's almost like you have to ask a question to yourself, like what do you have to lose?
Right.
You know, and like it's. And you have to like really like answer that question honestly, because some people would be like, "Oh, you have nothing to lose," but you actually do in a sense, because it's like you have money to lose, you have your time to lose, you got
dignity. You
know
what I'm saying? People were laughing at him.
You got your what's that word I'm looking for? Like your self-esteem.
Absolutely.
You know, so it's just like those things you do lose, like you do have those things to lose. But then it's almost like what your art is, right? Like whatever it is your art is it bigger than all that?
Like some would say, like that is the whole point of it all, you know, to have something that you created and put it out there for the world to see. Because, you know, once it's there, it's there. It's never going to go away, and nobody can take that away from you. So I think that's something that he understood. And, you know, watching Eddie Murphy portray that, you know, really, it almost brought a tear to my eye. You know what I mean?
You almost cried in the movie.
Yeah. I don't cry a lot. I don't cry a lot during Netflix films. But this one was special, guys. This one was really special.
Yo, it's definitely a recommended movie to watch. It definitely is. Like, that's definitely something that we should do at the end of every segment or like every episode. We should definitely let people know. Like, we should all each have like.
What we've been
like
watching.
a movie that we recommend people to watch.
Yeah, like a weekly, yeah. No, that's a great idea.
What we've been watching, that thing.
Yeah, folks. We just coming up with real ideas.
This is it. This is
right.
Like, guys, like for real, like
nothing. You witnessing something coming to fruition, bro.
You're on this journey with us. Right. You're on this journey with
You're
us.
here with us. Yeah, we're just all trying to figure this out. So maybe if the
Y'all
audio
grow
sounds
together.
a little off or whatever,
It's all
we're just working the kinks out.
Right.
You know?
It's the first episode.
So like,
bear with us.
But I mean, I think like from a technical standpoint of the movie and like through like a filmmaking, like watching Black Dynamite, man, like me falling in love with Black Dynamite and not really knowing how much of me as a black person is in that movie, and then watching this, Dolomite, seeing the influence and everything like that. It's really like empowering because we do really have our own our own thing and our own like
We
world.
we have our own styles. Like there's definitely a soul to it. You know what I'm saying? Like there's definitely a soul to the the movies that like that we make and that we watch. Like if you even watch like the most recent types of black films, like things that resonate to us, like these new movies that are coming out. What's the one where this woman, she witnessed like a cop killing somebody?
Yeah, Black and Blue.
Black and Blue,
Yeah.
like these are things that like
That
like Nah, it's a movie.
It's a movie. It
that's
has
coming out with
Tyrese Gibson
Tyrese.
and Naomi Harris.
Like
cops.
Yeah, they're cops and
So Naomi Harris, she witnesses a white cop killing somebody, so they try to pin it on her. So the whole movie is just her trying to like pretty much defend herself, and like it's crazy. It's like I haven't seen it yet, but from what I seen from the trailer, like it's a wild movie. Like and like these are things that are also happening in our communities as far as like what we witness, what cops do.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? There's another one too, which is like another like Bonnie and Clyde type movie that's coming out.
Yeah, but to speak on the Black and Blue movie, like that movie covers an eye of like you're not only, like you can be black and a police officer, but there's a difference when you become, a police officer and black because you have a different outlook on life and like your experience really entitles a separation of state and like from where you are because you're not going to get to that next level because that implies like a certain degree in like hierarchy because of your race and like things like that but the other movie it's called something Slim and Queen.
Yes, that's
Queen.
the one I was trying to look up.
It has India Moore in it, and it has Daniel Kaluuya, and I think the main actress is her debut. It may not be. I may be speaking out of my head, but no. Also a good movie that covers, and like I have a project I'm working on that covers this like in a different section of this. You're seeing this angle of this problem from two different angles at this point. From the Skin and Queen, the Queen and Slim angle is of from a victim standpoint of these two people have been plucked out of the populace and are now being interrogated by these officers, and it goes down. But then you have this angle of Black and Blue where it's a police officer who is on the force.
And she witnesses like a situation. She she can't even be a whistleblower because they're coming for her.
Yeah, and she's too close to the action.
Yeah.
So and also in that movie in the trailer, so I'm not spoiling anything, but when she does witness the cop killing him, or whoever
they're killing,
she has a body cam on, and the body cam was on, and it was recording because she was in fact on duty. So now there's a thing which pushes the story is they need the body cam and they need her because those are two different pieces of definitive evidence. So that's what pushes that story along. But there's a script that like I have a point of view and I'm not gonna spoil it right now, but but like it covers that third angle and maybe even a fourth angle of this whole view of what is going on in our country right now.
Country, community, all that.
So those movies, like these movies that are coming out today, I think are some of the most influential because we're now seeing a time where it's like we have the opportunity we can get around behind Hollywood via the internet, like Netflix, Hulu, blah, blah, blah. So we don't really necessarily need those outlets anymore to release our content. And now we're seeing all these stories blossom out, but like what's so beautiful, to bring it back to Oscar Micheaux, is that now we can have that power of releasing so much content and it not being such a tedious thing. Like I'm sure Oscar Micheaux worked tirelessly to do the things that he did, with the resources that he had, and like miraculously he did it, magnificent. But think about today with like the ability with DSLRs and SLRs and like the compactivity of like technology that we have, and like how much, and like I speak with myself included, that how much can we do with what we have today? Because we have so much resource.
And there's definitely so much that we can do. I think that the do for yourself is something that is coming back in our community. That's something that has been lost. I feel like even like from the 90s and early 2000s or whatever, and now that like we're in a time period where like we have like a Donald Trump and we have like we're seeing corrupt officials, like fully seeing them, and like you can't even hide from it. You can't even just play ignorant.
Not even like they want to hide from it.
Yeah. Yes, and
They're above the law, essentially.
exactly, and like now, like that art plays such a critical role in our community and in our society that like it's important to put out these sorts of contents, even though like it's like damn, like we gotta tell another cop story, but like it's so real. You know what I'm saying? Like it's so real in our community. It's so real that it's happening all the time, and like parts of us grow numb, but like I don't want to be numb to it. You know what I'm saying? Like every day, every time I find out somebody, like an unarmed kid, is killed by a cop, you know what I'm saying? Like I still feel something. I might not know what to do sometimes, a lot of the times, but I still feel something. And I mean, there's things that I would love to do, like, you know what I'm saying? But it's just, what is the black community as a whole? What like, who's the leader of the black community? Or like, do we even want one? You know what I'm saying? Because we know what they did to our leaders. You know what I'm saying? And it's almost like, all right, maybe art is the way, is the new leader. And it's just like, all right, let's just put it out there, and maybe it'll spark somebody, or it'll spark legislation or whatever, or new laws or something. I don't know, maybe it'll probably dismantle something and like rebuild something that's like not just like for us, but something that is like actually peaceful, like what that actually may look like. Who knows? Got a question for y'all though. Speaking more on like just switch the subject a little bit, but like what inspired, like which films inspired y'all like to want to be filmmakers? Like just to put it out there.
So many. Yeah, it's really gonna be hard to pinpoint it down to like a handful. But I would say the works of honestly, I'm not gonna lie. A lot of my favorite films aren't done by black filmmakers. A lot of them are like international filmmakers like Gaspar Noé, or Pedro Almodovar, or there's some domestic ones too, like of course Scorsese, Tarantino, the regulars. I would say Steve McQueen is also a huge inspiration for me.
He's underrated.
Yeah, super underrated. But in terms of films, I don't know. I was a huge fan of anime growing up. Like Cowboy Bebop, of course. Like Yu Yu Hakusho, a lot of Shonen Jump stuff. So it's all over the place. It's no like
one specific thing.
Yeah, it's and like right now it's very difficult for me to come up with exact instances of where I realized like, oh wow, like film is just it for me. But I guess I will say Drive, the movie Drive, by Nicholas Winding Refn, and Pusher, like the Pusher trilogy. Like those films like that.
I got some homework to do. I got some movies to watch right now.
Yeah, I mean we all do. That goes into another thing. That goes into another thing that I want to talk about too. It's like everybody, we all have our own experiences. Each of us has seen things that nobody else has in terms of whether it be on a day-to-day basis, whether it be film, whether it be music. So it's like there's like this elitism in the film industry where it's like, oh, you don't know who this director is.
I was just.
And that's another thing.
Thinking that too.
Especially in Hollywood and mainstream Hollywood, it's like if you don't know this director, if you don't know this producer or any of the things they're working on, then why are you even attempting to be in the industry? Yeah. Why are you even attempting?
Because it's like at some point, I mean, like it's like at some point nobody knew anything.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
And like the amount of knowledge that this universe holds, like we only know just a significant amount. Like it's so small. Like you know what I'm saying? And even what we think we know, we don't even really fucking know.
Right.
You know what I'm
Yep.
saying? Cause
Yeah,
it's
the more
like
you know, the more
cause
you
it's like
realize you
shit
don't
changes
know.
all the time. So it's like I'm always open. Like I always say like like I don't know shit. I don't know shit at all. You know what I'm saying? And I'm always open to like learn and to grow. And that's like the whole point of this, anyways, is to like learn and grow from everyone.
Absolutely.
Separate the bullshit from the real.
Absolutely, and I think that we're in an era now where more and more people want the truth. I feel like the internet is kind of really fucked up everybody's psyche when it comes to perceiving or understanding or like wanting to know what's really out there. And I feel like moving image and music, the arts, as Michael mentioned earlier, are like I feel like we're gonna be the driving force in terms of like adding that or like shedding light or bringing clarification or clarity to a lot of these different things. So yeah, that's it's I guess we kind of just like going on about why we love film so much, but that's essentially why we decided to make a podcast.
Yeah,
Um,
just show that out there. What
yeah.
about you, Omega? What's your film? What's the films that inspired you?
Um, I mean, like what Gabe was saying, like surprisingly, some of my favorite films aren't by black directors, and like just to like kind of like talk about that just a little bit, like it does, huh?
No, I was saying talk about
Yeah,
it.
let's talk about it.
Yeah.
Cause I'm with y'all in the same boat.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm with y'all on that.
But like those are some like the stories that like we should be focused on. But like, I mean, it's hard because like when it comes to this industry and our light and how we have perceived and how we want to be perceived, there's always some sort of what's the word I'm looking for? Always some sort of like negative connotation it has to whether like say if we're doing something empowering, that implies we have to face some like dark history or dark moments of our lives, and it's not always like, and no movie is ever all happy. Most of the time, they have an element of negativity. However, like it's hard to like, I don't know. It's hard to find like movies like Precious. That's a hard movie to watch.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but like that is one of my favorite movies because of the outcome of her character and how strong, even like with all those mental battles that she has to go through. Such a strong character. Like it surprised me to like see her say those words at the end. Just like I'm like, wow. But like some of my favorite movies, like which empowered me to drive me to film, were films like from director Steven Spielberg, like Schindler's List, and to see.
It's classic.
Yeah, just to see, and I had done like in school, I had done a lot of research about the Holocaust, and I had read Elie Wiesel's book, Night.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I read that in high school.
Yeah, so like I had known about this event and for like extensively, and to watch this movie probably in like my senior year, I can't really remember, but and at the time it had a huge impact on my life because what I was going through at the time seemed very surreal and very like catastrophic almost. So to see this movie, to capture this catastrophe, this like one of the world's biggest catastrophes is like, and to see it done beautifully and have a positive outlook gave me hope in life, and it also gave me hope in like film as well. So.
Yeah, I would say like for me, like the movies that like really inspired me to create film and to want to create film. Like I'm like just first and foremost, like I'm a screenwriter. Like that's just what I am, and I definitely would want to. I'm transitioning into directing, and like the movies that like I enjoy the most are the writer directors type movies, and like movies that like showcase the main character is like not lonely, but is by themselves, and I connect with them in a certain way. So like a movie like The Dreamers, that one was like the one where I was just like, I want to make movies. You know what I'm saying? It's about this kid who like this college student who lives in France, and he befriends these twin siblings, a boy and a girl, and this is during like the 60s, you know, which is like one of my favorite time periods in film in general, because I love French films and I love like the French New Wave, like the Jean Godard, you know, like, and I love movies like Woman is a Woman and like just Hiroshima Mon Amour, like these types of films that are just like the way they're cut up into pieces, and it's almost like puzzles being put together, you know, and like the way they're written as well too. Whenever you get a chance to like read a screenplay from that time period, it's just like wow, you know, like into just watching it. Like I don't like black and white films that are made by Americans, but I can watch a fucking French film in black and white. Like that, it's just different to me. It's just something about it. I don't know. It's just something about it that's just, it's almost like it's magical in a sense, you know? But then as far as like current film, like French filmmakers, like Bertrand Bellineau, he's like one of my favorite writer-directors. And he has like this one movie called House of Tolerance. And like, you know, whenever you watch a movie about prostitutes, it's almost like prostitutes are like a prop. You know, like they're just there, like they're like property. You know what I'm saying? Like as if they're not real people. Like this dude, like he gives you like that like he puts you in a place where it's just like, oh, these women are real women going through real shit. And this takes place in like 19th century France. You know what I'm saying? And like these characters, they trying to find themselves, and they're trying to like survive, you know, and like, and you feel for them. You know what I'm saying? Some of them are falling in love with people that they shouldn't be falling in love with, and it's just like love is such a chemical, I guess. Like it's such a thing that's just like it could really fuck you up, you know. And it doesn't matter who you are, whether you're a prostitute or you're a fucking millionaire, you know. And it's just like these types of movies, like they sort of like shine a light in certain things that like you wouldn't think it shines a light on. Right. So it's just like, yo, thank you so much for like, you know, if you've been listening this far, like y'all are a real one, for real. So I appreciate y'all. Follow us at the Micheaux Film Club on Instagram. We are gonna create other pages, but for now it's just the Micheaux Film Club on Instagram. This has been MJ.
It's also been me, Gabe, and
Omega.
Alright, thank you so much, y'all. So check us next time. Alright, peace.